Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again, and I just got done watching Nintendo's E3 conference, and I'm not in my car anymore, thank fuck. And yeah, we're gonna talk about it now. Before I begin though, I kinda just wanna rant. I was in a pretty emotional state just before the press conference, right? This is irrelevant to the press conference, but I wanna talk about it anyway, right? Because I got like a text from my friend saying that our university results were were emailed to us, you know, and just before the press conference I'm like, fuck, and I had to go into my emails. I was scared to click on it in case I failed, but thankfully I passed, so yeah. The whole Nintendo press conference would have been ruined had I failed those fucking exams, but thankfully I passed. A shit pass. But a pass anyway, isn't it? Right, anyway. Let's get right on to see what Nintendo did this week, and I hope that I'm doing okay here. This Vado is weird. Anyway, they opened up with Zelda, just like last year. Showed a little bit more gameplay of Skyward Sword. And they talked for quite a bit about Zelda since it's its 25th anniversary, you know. They're going to have a Zelda game on every platform, excluding their new thing, I noticed. On Wii, you're going to be able to play Skyward Sword, of course, on a 3DS. They're going to have Link's Awakening on the Virtual Console. And you're going to be able to download a sort of Four Swords Adventures on DSiWare for free, which is really cool. So I'll probably give that a go. And what else have I wrote down here? They're coming out with a Zelda Symphony, which is pretty cool. And also you're going to be able to buy a gold Wii remote with Wii Motion Plus built in with Skyward Sword comes out. I may just get that. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, they spent quite a bit of time on Zelda. I'm looking forward to Skyward Sword, you know, I think it'll be sweet. It's coming out this year, apparently. Then Iwata came out and talked about casual and hardcore, you know, like Nintendo does every year. Then they went into sort of their 3DS presentation. And they showed off quite a few games. They showed off a Mario Kart, the Star Fox, which we all knew was coming, really. A Super Mario Bros. Side-scroller, which looks like a sequel to Super Mario Bros. 3, since it had the Tanuki? I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but the fucking raccoon thing. So that would be pretty cool. And Kid Icarus, and a sequel to Luigi's Mansion. Oh, that... sweet, sweet. But yeah, Kid Icarus is going to use those augmented reality cards, which is not what I'm too fussed about, but whatever. 3DS is going to have downloads and trailers playable. I actually watched Dead or Alive Dimensions on here beforehand. What else we got? Excitebike was free. Actually, during the press conference I turned this on and downloaded it right there. I haven't played it yet, of course, but I won't get into that. Right. And they said a couple more things about 3DS. Overall, it's looking pretty good. They showed a montage of some of the third-party games coming out. Nothing I was too hyped for. Like, I'm not even that hyped for the Resident Evil games, to be honest. But either way, you know, good show, I guess. And then they announced their new console. It's called Wii U. Hopefully that's gonna grow on me, but right now I'm just like, really? Wii U? Okay, I see. The name aside, it's gonna have, all the rumors were true, it's gonna have a touchscreen controller. It's gonna have all the same buttons as like a PS3 controller, you know, it's got 4 shoulder buttons, 4 primary buttons, a D-pad, 2 analog sticks, all that stuff. The only difference is it's gonna have an accelerometer and a touchpad. It's actually about the size, roughly, of an iPad. That seems really big. I'm hoping at some point during the console's lifespan they release, you know, like a classic controller. My classic controller isn't here, but yeah, a classic controller without a screen for just playing some of the multi-plat games, which I'll come to in a second. I'd probably be into that, you know. And Iwata totally teased like fuck here of a Smash Brothers on 3DS and U. Basically, he did announce that the game is going to be on both those consoles, you know, and there's going to be some sort of cross-platform play there. Kind of similar to what Sony was doing with Vita and PS3, actually. I imagine it's going to be something like that, but we'll see anyway. And then they had a tech demo thing for a Wii U with a bird flying through some trees and that. It looked pretty amazing, you know. I'm pretty sure that confirms that the Wii U is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than a 360 PS3. And then they started going on about a few tech demo games, you know, not necessarily games, you know, Reggie specified this, games that aren't going to be coming to Wii U, but are games that you can try out in the convention center when, well, you know, so that people at E3 could talk about it and that. But anyway, they weren't proper games, so I won't go into too much about those. They did, for some reason after that, though, talk about publishing a Lego game that's going to be exclusively on 3DS and Wii U. I don't know how they'd talk about just a Lego game, but whatever, I guess. It's cool. And then they had a little montage of game developers talking about stuff, and they confirmed that it's going to be on the Wii U, Darksiders 2, pretty cool, I like the first one, Batman Arkham City, Assassin's Creed, they just said Assassin's Creed, not Assassin's Creed Revelations, Tekken, Ghost Recon, Dirt, Aliens, Metro Last Night, and Ninja Gaiden 3. That was my favourite game they announced for Wii U, you know. I kinda did predict that, you know, since Team Ninja and Nintendo are best friends now. I don't know if it's going to be multi-plat, like it's going to be on 360 PS3 or what. I imagine it will be Wii exclusive. They might pull that thing like a year later, they'll port it to PS3, like Ninja Gaiden, Sigma 3, I don't know. Either way, that sounds amazing. That is my favourite announcement, well, game announcement for Wii U right there. Then EA's president came out and talked about, he didn't really announce any game specifically, he just showed a bunch of screenshots like Madden, Mass Effect, Dragon Age, Dead Space, Battlefield 3, Medal of Honor, The Sims, Army of Two. It was actually really surreal, you know. For an entire generation, we've kind of heard like Wii fanboys go on about these multi-plat games, how they're unoriginal, generic, and all that bollocks. Well, now they're coming to your console, so yeah, we'll see how you say about it now, but whatever. Either way, that's awesome, you know. If Nintendo is going to get, you know, all the multi-plats from now on, like, if they got, like, Call of Duty and all that, the Madden, FIFA, 360 PS3 wouldn't know what to do, they really wouldn't. That'd be... Yeah, there's a lot of, like, fear to be had with Wii 2 if you're a Microsoft or a Sony guy right now. But the only exclusive game, well, confirmed exclusive they showed was that Lego game. I'm guessing this is just like a tech, it's all tech demo stuff, you know. They're not going to show any actual trailers for a really long time now. Because obviously it's going to be released sometime in 2012. I think Darksiders 2 and some of these other games are going to be out by the end of the year, and they'll probably be just ported later on, which is fine, you know. I don't know, they didn't really confirm things too much, but either way, the Wii U, I was alright with it. You know, I wasn't particularly blown away. Obviously, maybe because, you know, first time I saw the Wii controller, of course, I was like in a state of panic, whereas now I'm kind of more expecting that from Nintendo. And once I actually have a chance to play it, it might actually impress me more. But yeah, Wii U, fine, it's cool. But what did piss me off though is that the conference ended right there. They didn't talk about the Wii or the DS at all, you know. Obviously they're going to try and push those consoles out right now, but I don't know, for the DS, a wee while ago they announced that they had trademarked the new Professor Layton's title, Spectre Flute. That's the very first one. They haven't confirmed it, but that was just like, they trademarked the title. And there's the Pokemon Grey, as a, you know, black and white sort of a successor expansion pack thing. Or that might come at 3DS, I'm not sure. They actually did have a Pokemon section. But yeah, they didn't talk about 3DS and Wii, you know, they've got there's a handful of really good Wii games coming out for the end of the year. Like, okay, yeah, they did go on about Skyward Sword, that was a given. But you know, there was the new Kirby, there was Last Story in Xenoblade, which got confirmed, thank fuck! No, we need Pandora's Tower. There was that Rhythm Heaven, I don't know anything about that, but my Nintendo fanboy friend keeps going on about it, and it sounds pretty good. And what else? I think there was one more Wii exclusive I'm missing here. Kirby, Xenoblade. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, there's some good games coming out for Wii by the end of the year. I don't know why they didn't talk about Wii or DS a little bit. Just weird, right? But yeah, at least we know those games are coming, you know, like Mind you, now that I think about it, maybe that's why everybody kept saying that Sony's conference was so boring, you know, it's because they announced games that we knew were coming. We know all these games are coming. And I've just realised that now in front of the camera. Okay, fine. I'm looking more forward to the Wii games than I am the Wii U at this point anyway, I'll say that much. But yeah, was there anything else I wanted to say? That's pretty much it. Good job, Nintendo. I do think that was the best press conference. It didn't absolutely blow me away like they did last year. But yeah, the order, once again, just like last year, is Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft's really, really low. But yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Oh wait, yeah, there was one more thing I wanted to complain about. Where was Pikmin 3, Nintendo, okay? Because, I don't know, they gave like the biggest, you know, sort of like hint towards it, right? Let me explain, right? 3DS. I was sitting here a couple hours before the press conference, right? Sorry for my squeaky chair. I was sitting here a couple hours before the press conference. Here's my DSi. I've got a couple of DSiWare games on here, right? And they announced the ability to, you know, transfer them to your 3DS, but they would get deleted off this. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. While I'm waiting for the press conference to start, I'll do that. Now, the little animation that played out, you get it when you download a Virtual Console game, you get like Mario hitting the coin boxes, just a little animation there of Mario, okay? The animation that played as you were transferring DSiWare games to your 3DS was Pikmin. Pikmin would lift up, you know, the app, if that's what you call it, and take it over to the 3DS as they were depicting. I don't know, that just sort of hit me really hard. That was an ultimate hint towards Pikmin 3. I was so certain they were going to talk about it, whether it be for Wii or for Wii U, you know, but they didn't, and it's pretty weird. I don't know. I just thought that was weird, yeah. Anyway. But that's that anyway, guys. Good job, Nintendo. See yous after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.